Hi, I'm Reed Lockamy.
And I'm Will Lockamy. Welcome to the Iron Bowl Hour, or as we like to call it, the funniest 30 minutes in Alabama and Auburn football coverage.
On tonight's show,
Are you seriously going to ask me if I
I'm
think
going to
Bryant
ask
is the
you,
best coach of all
if you
time?
do you see him as the best college coach of all time?
That's a stupid question.
Well,
Of course he's the best coach of all time. Who else is in the
Will Muschamp.
You've heard about the Iron Bowl your whole life, and you made it. You're finally here. Are you excited about being at the Iron Bowl?
Yes, but this not the real Iron Bowl.
Why does everybody keep saying that?
from atop Red Mountain at Vulcan Park and Museum, it's the Iron Bowl Hour.
Reed and I are brothers. We've been that way since birth.
Since your birth, technically, Will.
Yeah.
And as brothers, we spent a lot of time in our youth disagreeing about things. Who was the funniest? Who was the smartest? Who would inherit all of Dad's sweater vests?
Yeah, we've decided to take our years of practice and put it to use in a segment we like to call
Agree to disagree.
That's right, Will. On the show, every week we're going to take a look at several headlines that are important to both Auburn and Alabama, and we're going to agree to disagree about these headlines and the issues that are raised so that both sides of the fence are seen on the show here.
No, we won't.
Yes, we will.
No, we won't.
Yes. Oh, I see what you're doing there. Very, very clever. The question in a nutshell is, should SEC coaches ban their football players from using Twitter? Now, a lot of coaches across the country have been doing this already, and now it's officially affecting this conference. Steve Spurrier has banned his players from this form of social media. What's your opinion about this?
Well, I think it should be left up to each individual coach. I don't think there overall, though, should be a ban on Twitter. I think you have good examples from Alabama and Auburn. Last year from Alabama, Mark Ingram, Greg McElroy, just two examples of players that always were tweeting positive things, good things about the program and about other teams. Also, Philip Lutzenkirchen.
Is that the way you say that?
Lutzenkirchen?
Kitchen.
Kirchen. Okay, Philip Lutzenkirchen, Reed. Sorry.
Yeah, he's the one that does that dance, right? I think, is that right?
Yeah, the Lutzy. Teach me how to Lutzy?
Teach me how to Lutzy?
I can teach you how to Lutzy.
Teach me how to Lutzy.
Yeah, but there are also bad examples, Reed, and I think you have to hold those players accountable. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Listen, football coaches have enough to worry about without this business, about whether or not one of their players is going to be causing, strife and anxiety by tweeting something that's, detrimental to the team. I think it's better just to say, we're going to cut this out. If you want to play football here, that's fine. That's a privilege. You don't necessarily then have, the right to freedom of speech to use Twitter and say things that could be, bad for the team.
When you're learning how to Lutzy, you kind of do this thing, and yeah.
If you can teach me later.
Okay.
Yeah. Should college football players be paid to play football?
The answer is yes, Reed. I don't think it's an easy answer. I don't think there's an easy way to get there, but they should be paid. Think about how much Alabama and Auburn as schools are making each year off football. Thousands of dollars, Reed. That money needs to be split up in some way with the players.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. They can't work, right? They can't bring in their own money.
They're too lazy.
Too lazy, clearly.
Yeah.
I understand that they're getting a free scholarship. They're getting books, they're getting their room and board, and they're getting like $30 a weekend to eat or something like that.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's something like that crazy. I just think there should be, either they should be allowed to work, or there should be some kind of money they're getting on top of this that will kind of even them out with other students. I understand Title IX, all that. It's going to take a while to get there, but I think they need to figure this out.
Here's the biggest problem with this. I don't know if you saw the article in Forbes. It's not really an article, but some pencil pusher at Forbes has decided that if you play for a top 25 school, your college scholarship is worth about $2 million, especially when you consider players who wouldn't have pursued a college degree if were it not for the opportunity to play football, right? So people quickly dismiss, all they're getting is a scholarship. These are valuable scholarships when you look at the effect over the course of the player's life, right? And also, I know you mentioned Title IX, but you can't downplay the importance of this. You can't just start paying college football players. You have to think also about college water polo players, right?
Reed, you make a good point, even though you're wrong. Now let's go back to this Forbes article. Did it have a lot of pictures?
I didn't see any pictures.
I didn't see it then.
Yeah. Well, once again, think about the water polo players. They are risking drowning every time they hit the pool. All right, Will, and this is a question a lot of people have been wondering about. Which team, Auburn or Alabama, will have bragging rights at the end of the 2011 football season?
I'm actually not sure who would be wondering about the answer to this.
People are curious.
Probably not. I think it's clearly going to be the University of Alabama. They're set up this year, stacked as always, as they have been the last few years. Auburn, totally opposite. They're rebuilding the whole program. Reed, Alabama's defense is possibly the best defense in all of defenses in the history of defenses.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way Alabama is not going to possibly make a full run at the national championship.
Well, I'm going to argue that Alabama will have bragging rights at the end of the season. I just think
Reed,
they're going to be.
Reed, you have to disagree with me here.
But Alabama will.
Reed, you have to disagree.
I have
It's
to
part
argue
of the
that
segment.
Auburn will have bragging rights at the end of
Go.
Okay, so Auburn, when the offensive linemen get better, then and the quarterback also gets better, then Auburn will beat Alabama at the end of the year and will have bragging rights.
Yeah, that went well.
That did not go well.
No, that went well.
No, it did not go well.
No, I see what you're doing here with the same.
Yeah, that's why I get paid the big bucks.
Up next, we're going to take it to sideline reporter Catherine Grace Fortenberry Smith, and she's going to take us out to the biggest flag football game in the history of the Iron Bowl. But did you say you were getting paid?
No, I didn't. Will, after a full year of tragedies in this rivalry, the tornadoes that hit Tuscaloosa, the poisoning of the trees at Toomer's Corner, the creation of this show, the two schools decided to put their differences aside and hold a flag football game at Spain Park High School in Hoover, Alabama to raise money for tornado victims.
That's right, Reed. There were legends from both schools in attendance, and Catherine Grace Fortenberry Smith was there to see both schools work together in the face of tragedy.
What do you do when college football's greatest rivalry gets too heated? You bring it back to its roots. And that's why we're here today at the more intimate 5,000-seat Spain Park High School venue to watch the 76th Annual Iron Bowl. Much like the early games in the series played at Lynn Park, this year's Iron Bowl will reflect the early, less heated days of the rivalry. I wanted to find out what the fans thought about the change of time and venue for the Iron Bowl. This is a little bit more intimate than the past Iron Bowls. Do you like the decision?
I love intimacy.
Here at the Iron Bowl, you can feel the excitement in the air. How does it feel to be a part of history?
Well, I didn't know I was a part of history, but I guess I am. You don't know your history until you actually make the history.
At the Walk of Champions, I noticed the players weren't wearing any pads or helmets, and most of them were old enough to be my dad. While the players warmed up, I discovered they would be playing this Iron Bowl with flags. Who came up with this flag rule, and how exactly do these flags work? I would have to assume it was an offensive player that came up with the idea of using the flags.
Of course it was. Defensive guys don't play with flags. We like to knock them down and help them up and knock them down again. It's the offensive guys that don't like to be knocked down, so of course they came up with the idea of using flags.
So how do these flags work?
Well, you just like put them on, and then apparently supposed to pull them. But I wonder if they like just pull one, we can keep on going. But they pull the flag, we're down on the spot. But I don't even know if anybody can run because everybody like graduating like in the 70s. So I don't know if they're gonna have time to pull the flags because they're gonna be tired.
Well, the flags are good in a way because it protects the players. But if you get one of those flags that's double knotted, you could really rip somebody's spleen or give them a hip injury if you're not careful.
I said we should put some shoulder pads on, come out here and hit some of these old guys and show them what football is all about.
Clearly, the players and fans had their concerns about the flags, but maybe the excitement of being at the Iron Bowl would trump any disappointment. Isn't it great being at the Iron Bowl?
I was at the Iron Bowl last year. Yes, it was historic. The Auburn comeback, it was historic.
I mean, wow, 2 years in a row. What's up with that?
Yeah, this is not the Iron Bowl here today. That'll be in November.
Alabama up 2 going into the half. Do you think this is going to ruin Auburn's season?
Auburn season? This is just a game between the former players. I don't think it has anything to do with the Auburn players that are going to actually be playing this year. This is not really the real Iron Bowl. You know that, right?
I believe it's the 78th Iron Bowl.
It looks like it out there. It looks like it out there, the way these guys are playing. This is not the 2011 Iron Bowl that's in November.
You've heard about the Iron Bowl your whole life, and you made it. You're finally here. Are you excited about being at the Iron Bowl?
Yes, but this is not the real Iron Bowl.
Why does everybody keep saying that? It takes a strong woman to say they're sorry, and I'd like to offer my apologies. forever putting faith in my incompetent producers and thinking that they could accurately give me the information to report the facts. So if this wasn't the Iron Bowl, then why did everyone come to watch this game? Why do you think we're here today?
Well, we're here today to raise money to benefit the people who were victims of the storms that passed through Tuscaloosa earlier this year.
Do you like seeing the teams come together for a cause like this?
I do. I think it shows that, and people in other parts of the country think that Alabama and Auburn really, really hate each other, but that's only for one game a year. Other than that, we try to work together to benefit each other if we can, and this just is evidence of that.
Even though this was just a game for charity, that didn't keep the former players from being competitive. Alabama led a last-minute drive and two-point conversion to win 42-41 in a game that went back and forth all night.
It's great this event, we came together as Alabama and Auburn, put everything aside and raised money for a great cause. And, the damage was in Tuscaloosa, but it was all over the north half of the state of Alabama, and everybody was affected, just not Alabama people, not Auburn people, they're Alabamians.
We had some friends, we gathered, did a Facebook group or whatever, and had some people donate all kinds of goods at my house, and we loaded up a U-Haul trailer and came over to Tuscaloosa and volunteered for a day.
So while this may not be the Iron Bowl, and these players may be older and slower, what they do have in common with the current teams is heart. The heart to put aside their differences for a day, to clean the mothballs off their jerseys, and to serve the greater good by raising money for tornado victims. This is Catherine Grace Fortenberry Smith reporting for the Iron Bowl Hour.
The Grill.
Welcome back to the Iron Bowl Hour. It's time to turn up the heat on the grill with Paul Feinbaum. Rapid fire questions. Here we go.
Why are you so bald?
Why are you so stupid?
What coach has hated you more than any other coach?
Let's see, there was Perkins, there was Curry, there was Shula, there was DeBose, there was Franchione, there was Bowden.
It's a good list. Yeah.
What kind of bear do you think Bear Bryant was?
I think he was a grizzly bear.
If Danny Sheridan told you he was a liar, would you believe him?
No.
What's 17 times 3?
17 times 3, let's see, 1, 7, I don't know. I went to Tennessee.
Are you ready for football season to start?
I am. Does it start sometime soon?
Tomorrow.
I think that's right.
Tomorrow?
Harvey Updike, huge idiot or regular-sized idiot?
Even bigger than huge.
What's your favorite stadium to visit in the SEC?
That would be Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Have you ever bought a suit in Tuscaloosa?
No, but I've gotten a couple of free ones.
Have you ever chest bumped Trooper Taylor?
I did at the White House a couple of months ago.
Impressive.
Have you ever been spanked by Nick Saban?
Close.
About how far would you guess you could throw a football?
About as far as Greg McElroy, 20 yards.
Do you think this appearance on the Iron Bowl Hour could be your big break?
I think it's the end of my career.
Do you think this appearance on the Iron Bowl Hour might ruin your career?
It already has.
Well played, Paul Feinbaum.
Yeah, good job.
Very nice. Yeah.
Paul, thanks for riding in the elevator with us in spite of...
It was weird.
Yeah, that's okay.
A little awkward.
But enjoyable.
Sure.
Paul, is Auburn going to be as bad this year as everyone's saying?
Actually, I think they're going to be worse.
Really?
Yes, really.
Here's my
Have you
thought.
seen their schedule?
I've seen the
Do
schedule.
you think that's the main thing, the schedule, or
Yes,
is it the
I mean, the
personnel?
schedule's obscene.
Everyone keeps commenting on how young the players are and whatever, but this team, I feel like, possibly has more talent than the team 2 years ago with a Chris Todd at quarterback.
That team sucked. Auburn was really, they won 7 games 2 years ago, and then they stole that bowl game from Vanderbilt or Northwestern or Harvard. I really don't remember which one it was.
Nerd alert.
But they don't have anything this year.
All right, so here's my question. How many games would Auburn have to win for this to be a huge success? If you have such low expectations for them, how many games would be?
How many do they play?
Well, depends on how you define
12?
play. We'll say 12. Out of
So
12 regular season games.
They have 4 cupcakes. No, they don't have 4 cupcakes. They have 3 cupcakes, right? Because Clemson is
Clemson, it depends.
Oh,
so
yeah,
they have 3 cupcakes and Ole Miss.
Right.
That's 4 cupcakes.
So you're predicting a 4-win season?
Did I say that?
I'm not sure.
That's the question?
I think Auburn will win 7 games.
Okay. And you think that will be a success?
I think that will be Gene Chizik will finally win Coach of the Year. He didn't win it last year because nobody thought it was deserving because they thought it was illegitimate. Do you get my drift?
Do you feel like it was illegitimate?
I didn't say that. I just said some people did. I didn't vote for Coach of the Year because I'm not an SEC coach, in case you haven't noticed.
Didn't know.
All right, if you were a Danny Sheridan, where would you put the odds on Auburn holding on to that national title from last year?
I think Auburn will hold on to it.
So pretty strong.
Yeah, no, I would say very strong.
All right, speaking of national championships.
Although, if I were an Auburn fan, I would enjoy it for the time being. You don't know. I mean, it could sneak away, but I don't think Auburn fans care.
We wouldn't know.
That's part of Auburn's tradition.
If we were to make odds on Alabama picking up another national title, which would be number 37, 38, somewhere in there, depending on how you count, what would you say this year?
I think Alabama will win the national championship.
Paul, if I remember.
Now, by the way, that's the
Agreed.
That's the 27th year in a row I picked Alabama to win the national championship.
That's actually what I was going to say. I think last year you picked
I
them
did.
as well.
And they came close. They were number 10 in the country.
Sure, yeah.
And they could have if the referees hadn't stolen a couple of games from them.
Paul, Reed and I have looked at the Alabama schedule this year, and we can't find a loss. We know you probably feel the same way. If you had to pick one game where they could slip up a little bit, where would it be?
There are 3 possibilities, maybe 4, that something weird could happen. And I'll surprise you. Penn State's one. I don't think Alabama will take that game seriously, but I don't think that would be the game. If I had to put some money down that you could see an upset, it would be Arkansas. Arkansas is really good, and Alabama will certainly take them seriously, but they could lose that game.
All right, so if we were to get you on the spot to make one reasonable, relatively safe prediction about something that might come to fruition this year in the SEC, what would you say?
I would say the show will be canceled after 3 weeks.
Oh, that's brutal. All right, what about if you were to make one outlandish, yet still technically possible prediction about this year?
This show will make it to the 6-week mark.
Wow, that would be a dream.
Paul, what are the chances, if any, that Auburn could pull out another upset this year against Alabama?
0.
How far is Alabama going to have to get in the lead before they feel comfortable?
There you go again. I'd say if Alabama goes up 24 or 21 to nothing or 24 to 7, Alabama fans ought to start getting nervous. I don't listen. Yeah, you want me to give you the cliches? You'll have former players on. When those teams get together, you throw out the record books. Not this year. 2 years ago was an aberration that Auburn was able to hang. Last year was bizarre. It won't happen. It will be a beatdown.
Do you think that this rivalry has gotten completely out of control? Where do you see the state of this rivalry?
I think it's at its worst state ever, and that's saying something. But there's a reason for that. It's because so many people are involved. It used to be it was the fans and then maybe some hangers-on. But now, you go to an Alabama football game, there's 150,000 people tailgating outside who have no ticket, no chance of getting in, but it's just what people do now because everyone has a Twitter account and everyone has a Facebook handle, and you can go on a message board and post something, and you're instantly a hero or at least well known.
What do you make of all this talk that shows like yours have been maybe contributing to the problem, if there is one?
How could anyone objectively think the Feinbaum Show has contributed to the poisonous, venomous, toxic, noxious atmosphere of this rivalry?
Ridiculous. Well, Paul, thanks for being with us. I think we maybe learned something from you.
Are you telling me this is it?
No, this is actually it. Your car's out front.
Okay, I was just getting into the rhythm of this interview.
No, it's actually time to go, though. Thanks.
What about next week? Am I back?
Yeah.
We'll check.
Guys, we're back after this for the Innisfree Question of the Week. Each week on the Iron Bowl Hour, we're going to stop by Trivia Night at Innisfree Irish Pub in Tuscaloosa, where the courteous, attractive, and efficient staff will present to us the Innisfree Trivia Question of the Week. The viewers are going to be able to submit their answers by emailing them to theironbowlhour@gmail.com. All correct submissions will enter you into a weekly drawing, and you'll be able to win awesome Alabama and Auburn prizes.
Yeah, including the official Iron Bowl Hour swimsuit calendar. Will, I got some good ideas for your shoot.
But let's just send it to Innisfree.
Hi guys, I'm Carrie.
And I'm Nick, and we're the hosts of Innisfree Trivia here in Tuscaloosa.
Here's your question for week 1.
Submit your answers by email at theironbowlhour@gmail.com. You'll be entered in a weekly drawing to win prizes.
Good luck!
And that's all the time we have for this week. We'd like to thank Paul Feinbaum for joining us.
Yeah, he did a good job. Well, I think that guy's got a future if he gets a little bit better. And also, let's not forget about Catherine Grace Fortenberry Smith and her informative report from the alumni flag football game.
And most of all, we'd like to thank all of you for joining us. Reed, roll Eagle.
War Tide, Will.
I used to be pregnant, but I'm not anymore, thank goodness. But I hear you are, so congratulations.
So, what year are you now?
I'm a senior, 5th year senior.
I'm gonna tackle him, then I'm gonna tackle Joe Cope for coming out here looking like Tom Brady with his long hair.
I misunderstood what your producer said.
All right, so if
I
we
bet
were
that
late-
doesn't make the final cut.